I think a
Because
lot of people are too afraid to admit. Well, first of all, I don't think a lot of people even know what they need because they're just so like they're
yeah,
just so
that
lost
is
with
true.
self awareness, especially if their parents told them to like suck it up and made them grow up real fast or something. I
Hmm.
don't know. A lot of people don't even know what they need. But then the way that like society is, like you're supposed to be independent and you don't need no man and you don't need no woman and all this stuff. And so people are way too afraid to ask for help or even
Hmm.
admit like, hey, I really need this or I need that. Like, could you imagine going on a first date, kind of like the elevator thing, and just saying, like, these are the needs I have. Like, this is type of person I am. Like I would say, I'm the type of person that I like to make people feel special and I need to feel appreciated for that. Like very simple, straight to the point. But so many
Yeah,
people just aren't they don't acknowledge it or they don't feel comfortable talking to people and saying that. So then they just live with resentment until they explode and get in a
hmm
fight about it or
yeah, and they
whatever.
and they think that there's something wrong with them. Um, I remember me when I used to go on dates back in college and stuff like that. Everything was about try to please the other person so they could like me. Like
Mm-hmm.
now I look at it like what the fuck I was doing, but before that, that was the thing. Oh, you gotta make sure she likes this. Oh, you gotta smell good. You gotta, gotta make sure for sure. I mean, yeah, good appearance, but like, you gotta make sure you say the right things. You don't wanna freaking upset the person. Or you make sure you gotta the biggest thing was like, oh, you gotta make sure she has fun. So then you go there to the date, like, oh man, you
All
stressed
that
out.
pressure.
All that pressure, like, am I saying the right thing? Is she getting bored? And all this stuff. And but now with what I know now, if I go back, first of all, when I dress up, I'll dress up with what makes me feel good. Whatever makes I think in my mirror, be like, yeah, man, I look good. I'm ready. Now, whatever I think she's gonna think looks good. But whatever I think it looks good, I'll be like, yeah, I look good. Then I will go to the day and I'll start talking to her. And then if I'm gonna tell her straight up, hey man, I'm nervous as hell. I think you're beautiful, and I'm nervous as fuck. And I just want to give you a good time, and we want to have a good time. But I just want to be me because I don't know how to be anybody else. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you appreciate, and I'm pretty sure you will appreciate to see who I really am instead of some fake dude that I might come up, fake personality that I might come up with, and that you may start liking the fake personality, but you may not when I come out, the real me comes out, and you may not like that. So that's why you just got to be yourself, man. Just be like,
And there's a big difference though in because I was thinking like if I went on a date and a guy was like, you know what, I'm just feeling all this pressure, worried that you're not having a good time, and I just have to be honest about it. I would be like, oh my gosh, wow, that's so cool how authentic he was. That's one thing. But then if you just sit there and like are mopey about it, you know what I'm saying? If so like it's one thing to express, concern or just be authentic with how you feel, but it's another to sit there and be like, well, nobody ever likes me and I never do good on dates and like I don't know,
yeah,
I'm just really ugly and
yeah,
I'm just so like, oh, and I know that you're not gonna like me, so it doesn't matter what I get. Like, if you just start spiraling, that's way different than just being like, look, I am hella nervous and I'm just kind of worried. And I don't know. Surely people can tell the difference.
yeah. And you never know. Maybe the person might like who you truly are. Like you said, if you just tell them the truth. Because I think if you know, thinking about it, if I'm going on a date with a girl and she tells me, "Oh man, I'm sorry, I don't want to bore you or whatever. I just feel so much pressure. I'm nervous." In kind of a way, I would feel like I would feel good, kind of in a way. I'd be like, "Oh man,
Be relieved.
that means she really cares," because I was feeling, and then I
Yeah.
probably just like, "Hey, that's totally okay. I will be feeling the same way," and now we really connect. Um, I had these tickets to a movie. If that's really what you wanted to do, she's like, "Nah. To be honest, I just want some ice cream." I'm like, "Okay, then fuck the movie. If ice cream sounds good, let's just go get that. Let's go get some ice
Yeah,
cream.
that's
Talk bullshit.
perfect. Yeah.
let's go get some ice cream and talk bullshit. And she's like, yeah, I really don't like movies. I probably was gonna end up hating anyway. Look at okay, you see? That's what I'm yeah,
And
let's
then
go.
I would automatically already feel safer with you. I would feel safe being able to express my needs and what I want or what I think if somebody made me feel that,
Yeah.
comfortable. They were that
And
authentic.
and then you also know ahead of time because then what if you tell her that? Like, what if you tell the person, hey, I'm nervous and whatever, and then they come up with something stupid or like they don't like you then and then they leave, then I'm like then you'd be like, oh yeah, great,
Okay, bye.
great, bye, because then that means you weren't meant for me anyway. Thank God I found out
Yeah.
now before I was like 2 years on the road with you and found out that this was a mistake and waste my time. Thank God you left now
Yeah.
then. Okay, next one. No,
They
that's,
were lining up for you, weren't they?
no, I'm just no. That's what I'm saying. That's how I will handle it.
I'm just
Is
teasing.
but back then, no, hell no, because I was so into the I want to please people. I wish they were not enough for me, but like I was so much into I want to please people, you know, and I will surrender who I really am to try to become like they want me to be or build this character. That wasn't even me, and turns out that the character that I was but creating to not be me and protect me, nobody liked it anyway. So it was like that's a problem because then nobody liked the character you create, and then you confuse. Well, I can't be myself, and then like they don't like the character. Then what the fuck am I? What am I gonna do now? What the fuck is gonna take me now? Like I don't know. So
Yeah, totally makes sense.
because you start listening to the other guys, you start listening. They all got their techniques. Like oh yeah, you got to do this with the girl, you got to do that.
Oh
So
my
then you
gosh, yes.
so then you start thinking, oh, that's the only way. You start
It's so
believing that.
toxic on for women too. There's
Yeah,
all these books and things like, oh well, if he calls at this time, well then you just ignore him. Make sure you ignore him, and and I'm like, oh come on, like
yeah,
I no, I'm not doing that. If I
yeah,
have to try to ignore you for us to work, then I would rather just be alone. That is so stupid.
yeah.
Uh,
And um, that's why sometimes when you go when you're looking for a relationship, when you actually looking, you never find anybody. But when you never notice, like when you stop looking, you're like, ah, fuck, I give up. I don't care about that shit. Then
they
that's when
always
somebody
pop
shows up.
up.
Oh yeah, that's when somebody shows up. Like that's how my happened with my wife. I just happened to get out of a very toxic relationship that I had with some girl, and I was like, fuck. After that relationship, I'm not dating for a while. I'm gonna be single. I'm gonna enjoy my life. And 2 months later, I met my wife, but I wasn't even looking for it. As a matter of fact, she probably didn't even like me at first because I remember I met her I was at a club and I got introduced to her by a friend. But the first impression she had of me was like, this guy's an asshole. Because I was at the bar getting a drink and we were waiting for her, for them to come, my friend, whatever, and they finally get to the bar. After me waiting at the club for like almost an hour, they finally get there, and I was like already kind of angry. And I was like, I saw I saw them, and I was like, oh, it's about time, yeah, yeah, get here. Like, I don't even know if they got any drinks left. And then she was like, what the fuck is this though? And looked at me with a weird fair, and they was like, walked away. I don't know how it
That's
worked
funny.
out that at the end of the night, I ended up with the girl. I don't know, but that's life. When you're not even when you become yourself, that when you are yourself, that's when things work out. But the thing is that when that happened, even though she probably didn't like it at the moment, she saw that okay, this guy is not like trying to come up with some bullshit, trying to pick me up,
That's
and
so funny because it makes me think of this guy I dated a few years ago. I won't name him, but on our first date, he was 2 hours late. Like
oh,
we had been communicating. I was like, look, like this is not okay. Like I totally was like, this is so not okay. And he's like, what? I was feeding my kids. I'm like, no, you, like, I just told, and I didn't want to go, but we'd been talking for a while. So I was like, fine, I'll just, whatever. Like, I'm already kid free. I want to go out. So whatever, I'll just go. And as soon as we got in the car, I started saying stuff. I was like, it's totally not cool. Like, it's not okay. It's very disrespectful. And my time
Yeah,
is precious and you need to respect
yeah,
my time. And he was like, and we talked about it afterwards because we immediately hit it off and were like, just all in love. But he ended up telling me, he's like, that was one of my favorite things about you is that you didn't give a shit and you were just going to tell me exactly, like, you didn't let me walk all over you. And you stood up for yourself and you spoke your truth. And I was like, yeah, what I want
yeah.
to do.
Because now you're taking the stress away on what the other person is thinking. Or that's another thing. You're on a date and you don't know what's in the other person's mind. You don't know if you're giving them a good time or you're not because they are like you don't know what they're really thinking. Instead of just telling you know wasting the person's time and just tell them the truth or what is it that you're feeling. Most people what they do is that they just pretend, oh yeah, 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 thank you, and then you think they're having a good time, and then you call them right after the day, and they like either never pick up or if they do pick up, they're like,
Mm-hmm.
nah, I'm not interested. I'm like, yo, like, why don't you just tell me in the beginning right away? Like, I'm boring the shit out of you. I'm not for you. Like, we could have just ended. You didn't have to waste your whole night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but